Skulls here. I'm doing another video for you. I've been looking on YouTube a lot last couple of days, and I've noticed a lot of people have done videos based on Christmas movies. Now, I haven't got a lot of Christmas movies in my room. I don't really buy Christmas films because they're always on telly. So I've decided to just pick out 10 random films that I've been loving in general this year. Well, these aren't brand new, they're old. 10 of my favourite films, and I thought I'd show you, so let's get on with the film. So the first film I want to talk about is one of my all-time favourite childhood films. I first watched this when I was a little girl, and I fell in love with it, and it is called A Little Princess. Now, I am in love with this film. I think this film is one of the best films probably ever. She's got the exact same name as me. It's based on her. She has to go to a boarding school because her father has to join the military, and she goes on this journey. She meets his friends, but the lady that owns the boarding school is very strict and thinks that she's a little bit of a troublemaker, but she just wants to find her dreams. She just wants to inspire these other kids, and it's fantastic. And there's a line in it where she says every little girl is a little princess, and this horrible, nasty woman says, "You're not a princess." So it's brilliant, and I recommend it. It is a you. So yes. The next film is a Shakespeare film. I love my Shakespeare films. A lot of people know that I absolutely love Romeo and Juliet, and you'd be shocked because Romeo and Juliet is not in my top 10. My next one is The Merchant of Venice. This is one of my all-time favourite Shakespeare plays. It's got Al Pacino, Jeremy Irons, Joseph Fiennes and Lynn Collins, which I think is that one there. And he's the Merchant of Venice. I have to find who the Merchant of Venice is because I can never remember. I think the Merchant of Venice is Jeremy Irons. I have to look up for that one, but it's so brilliant. You don't even need to know who's who. Al Pacino plays Sherlock, who is a Jew, and he's so good in this film. It's so powerful, and even though it's a Shakespeare film, a lot of people be like, "But do you even understand it?" You don't need to understand it. You just need to watch it, and you understand it once you watch it, if that makes sense. It's set in Venice, and it's just the most amazing film ever, and I recommend this as a must-see Shakespeare film. The next one is a bit like Romeo and Juliet, but it's a musical version of Romeo and Juliet, and this is West End Story. I absolutely love this film. This is the musical version of Romeo and Juliet, and it's based on, I've got to try and remember the two names. One's called The Jets, and I think the other one's called well, basically there's two sides, and it's all about love and the modern love and tragedy, and it's set in 1950s New York to do with gangs. It stars Natalie Wood, Richard Beymer. It's just such an amazing film, and I love the music. You got a Miss America, you got Somewhere, you got Tonight. Brilliant film. It's very old, but I still love it. And also, what's good about this one is you get 2 discs in it, so I love it. The next one, I think everyone knows what my favourite Tim Burton film is, especially with the animated cartoon. It is A Nightmare Before Christmas. So this is technically a Christmas film. You can't go wrong with A Nightmare Before Christmas. For me, this is a film that has to be watched. It's a film that has to be in my top 10 because it just completes the whole idea of Halloween and Christmas put together. She falls in love with Jack. It's all about Pumpkin King. It's about trying to make Halloween a better year for him and his creepy crawly friends. It's just such a brilliant film. I have got another one that I like, but it's not as good as this. This is better. So yes, go see Nightmare Before Christmas. Right, we are now got my last one before my top 5. So this is The Divide. Now, The Divide is probably a film that I'll probably recommend you would see if you're into apocalyptic horror films. Is that the best way of explaining this film? It's basically... how can I explain this film? So basically, it's got Milo Ventimiglia, who's in it, from Heroes. And if you've seen Heroes, you know who he is. He's that one there, gorgeous as hell. But in this film, he goes a bit crazy. So basically, you all get trapped in the basement because there's a massive explosions happened in New York City, and they have to take shelter. And they come under attack in men in suits, and they have to try and survive. And it's very intense. It's thrilling. It's gut-wrenching. If you're into films like this, go see it. If you're not, don't go see it. Don't go see it. It's definitely... When I first saw this on telly, I thought, what the hell was this film? And then I saw it, and I was like... I fell in love with this film. Like, I love apocalyptic, gut-wrenching films. I love films that really bring you into it. And they start going on a cycle. They start getting all mental and crazy and go psycho. Two of them start shaving their heads and wearing lipstick and makeup, and one of them gets, I don't want to use the R words, but she kind of gets, how can I say the word without saying the word? It just gets a bit creepy, and it gets a bit like violent, but in a good way, because that's the kind of film that you want to watch if you're into that kind of stuff. I made one of my friends watched it, and he loved it, and I'm happy it's in my top 10, but it's not in my top 5 because there's 5 more that are better than this, but I recommend you go see this. Right, top 5. So, at number 5 we have Domino. Domino has Keira Knightley, Mickey Rourke and Edgar Ramirez. Now, this is a bounty hunter film, and this is a most dangerous, daring, smart film you probably would ever watch. She's amazing in this film. If you've seen a lot of her movies, you need to see this. This is a 15, and it's basically based on bounty hunters, as I said, and she joins this bounty hunter place, and her mother doesn't agree with it, but then she starts to realise actually it's a turning point in her life. She gets a career out of being a bounty hunter. She becomes like the main girl throughout the whole film. I would love to call my daughter Domino. If I ever had a daughter, I'd probably pick that name because it's such a nice name, but it's smart, it's sexy, it's entertaining, it's fun. It's just, it's so good. And the men in this film, oh my god, like, especially the 2 guys at the back, they're just hot. When you see one of them Spanish, he becomes like a dad to her. It's just epic, and there's a massive big explosion at the end. So yeah. Right, we've got my top 4, and these are, I mean, the best 4 films I've probably got. Well, no, I've got other good films, but number 4, you know I love this person, you know I love his music, I love his anything, is 8 Mile. I am in love with 8 Mile. My friend Dean, who I talk about a lot on Facebook, introduced me to 8 Mile, and I loved it. And when I first heard that line, if you only get one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it or just let it slip? I was like, that's Eminem all over. Like, Eminem wrote those lyrics. It's got Brittany Murphy in it. If you know what this film is about, I don't really need to talk to you, but if you don't know what this film is about, he's a rapper, obviously, who lives in Detroit. He has to find his way in urban decay of 1950s Detroit. He wants to find ride, he wants to succeed, he has to battle against other people, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. There's not a lot of action, there's the 2 sex scenes, and that's about it in this film. One which he does at work, but it's not really a sex scene, and the other one is when his girlfriend cheats on him with one of his friends, who has to end up battling at the end. So it's really, really good. A fantastic cast. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better cast. You got Kim Basinger, Eminem, obviously. You got Brittany Murphy. You got Mekhi Phifer, who I think plays plays his black best mate. Fantastic film if you're into hip hop. Fantastic film if you're into Eminem. A fantastic film if you're into any of the characters I've just mentioned. So, go see it. Right, top 3 films. Now you either love these films, never seen these films, or think, could she not find any other better films that she could have? No, because these 3 are my favourite 3 films in my whole probably collection that I've got. So the third film is Pearl Harbor. Now, there's only 2 reasons why I love this film. 1, because of who's the actors, and 2, hi Mum. 2, because of the setting, the story, how it's portrayed. It's just the most amazing film in the world. It's based on I can never actually remember if it was World War I or World War II, but it's based on Pearl Harbor, and it's based on just a date that will never live, which will live in infamy. It's about December 7th, 1941, which I think was World War II, and it's about the Japanese fighting against Pearl Harbor. Brilliant film. He's supposed to die, ends with her. But then she gets with him. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then it's such an emotional, heartbreaking film, and I love it. And if you're into war films, and you're into films like this, and you love Ben Affleck, and if you love Josh Hartnett and all them kind of films, go definitely see this film. Okay. The second film is a film I always watch. It's my favourite comedy film. It's it's The Breakfast Club. I absolutely love this film, as you all know. I'm always watching this film. I'll probably watch this film again tonight. It's an 18 teen movie. It's got Emilia Estevez, Molly Ringwald, which is, I think, that one there. And just a brilliant film. It's based on these kids who have detention, and they have they start becoming good mates, they start having things in common, they start liking each other. You've got the jock, the brain, the criminal, the princess and the cook. And I think this is based on real life. I think for me personally, I can relate to this because in school, I was the cook. I was the kind of the dumb one, the one who didn't have many friends. And I think everyone can relate to this, whether you're a princess. So tell me below, were you the jock, the brain, the criminal, the princess, or the cook in school? And my final favourite film is probably the best film I've ever seen. I cry with this film. I love this film. It is A Walk To Remember. You know I love this film. I am constantly watching this film. It's based on Mandy Moore, who was in The Princess Diaries, and she gets with this guy here, Shane, but they don't really work at the beginning. They don't like each other. She's got no one to talk to, friends. He's part of a gang, and they start getting closer because he gets into trouble, and she starts working with him. They do a play together. She's so emotional. She's dying, and he gets really close. He proposes to her. Best film ever. Emotional, brilliant, and outstanding. And I recommend this to everybody. So yeah, that is it. My top 10 films. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you all soon.